An angel is one of the main symbols of Christmas. No Christmas tree is complete without angel ornaments. In this tutorial, I will show you how to make such an ornament. So, what tools and materials will you need? Satin ribbons, pearl beads, I used 8 millimeters, bigger bead for the top, lighter or candle, sharp scissors, hot glue gun and glue, tweezers, thin wire, ornamental ribbons as desired, thread, needles for sewing. It's important to choose the right ribbon. Not all types of ribbons are suitable. Only satin ribbons will do, as they are the most pliable and smoothest. They also keep their shape well and shine. I prefer not wired ribbons. Most of them are wired now, as I see in Hobby Lobby, but you can easily find not wired ribbons online. Satin ribbons might be single-faced and double-faced. Single-faced are smooth and shiny only on one side, and double-faced are smooth and shiny on both sides. I think it's best to use 2.5 inches wide ribbons. 2.5 inches wide ribbon is easy to fold and is more convenient to use. It keeps its shape well and is not too difficult to handle. Smaller ribbons are more difficult to work with. Use only satin ribbons made from synthetic materials, polyester and nylon. Don't use ribbons made from natural silk. For no-sew projects where the material is not in contact with skin, I prefer to work with artificial fibers. They melt but don't burn, and polyester is flame-resistant material. I suggest watching the whole tutorial before attempting to make this. In my process, I made a mistake at some point and I didn't realize it until much later. Step 1. Cut 10 rectangles. Begin the process by cutting 10 rectangles from the ribbon, each 5 inches long. If you have 2.5 inches ribbon, as I did, the rectangles must have a 2:1 ratio for the two sides. And since our ribbon is 2.5 inches wide, we will cut 10 pieces, each 5 inches long. Step 2. Fold corners. Fold the rectangles like this, starting with one corner. Then seal the corner so folded so it will stay put. We need to either sew this together, which is possible, or because my polyester ribbon is melting in the flame, I chose to seal the corners using the flame. I use a lighter to do that. Just touch the ribbon briefly close to the middle and then smooth it between your index finger and thumb. Test it first on a piece of scrap ribbon until you get the hang of it. If done correctly, the material will melt just a little at the very edges, and that's all we need. As you can see, it's safe to touch the material immediately after. It will be warm but not very hot. Now, important safety note. Every time you are working with an open flame, as will be the case here, you will need to pay special attention to your safety and take extra care. Never leave the flame unattended. Always extinguish the flame when you are done or when you take a break. Never leave flammable materials around the flame. Handle with care any materials near the flame. Always keep your kitchen fire extinguisher handy. Work with flame near your kitchen sink. Fire is not a toy. Never leave children, especially small children, around the candle or alone in a place where a fire can be easily started. And do this with all initial rectangles, all 10. Step 3. Fold into triangles. Fold the process rectangle in half like this. The result will be a folded triangle. The triangle obtained this way tries to unravel. Use a clip called a wonder clip to keep the corner in place. Use the clip not on the fold but on the two separate corners that came together in folding. Step 4. Mark the stitching line. I measure about 5/8 of an inch from the lower corner, not the one with the clip, and draw a line using a fabric marker from the corner held by the clip to that point. You don't need to actually draw these lines on the ribbon. I did it just to show you where we have to stitch. Step 5. Stitch along the lines using your sewing machine. Sew along the lines marked at the previous step. Repeat the operation for all 10 pieces. After this, we end up with 10 pieces that look like this. Step 6. Cut unused corner. Cut close to stitches at about 1/16 of an inch distance from the seam, 2 millimeters. Close enough to have only a negligible amount left, but not close enough to invite unraveling or to touch the seam. Repeat the operation for all 10 pieces. Discard the cuttings, they are not useful anymore. These 10 pieces will become the dress of the angel. Step 7. Mount beads. Take a piece of craft wire. It's about 0.8 millimeters in diameter. But of course I got it in the craft store and there is no diameter on the label. It's simply wire for crafts. The length of the wire is about 5 inches or so, comfortable to work with. This wire is only a tool used to place the bead in the fold. I decided to use this wire tool to set the beads because it's quite difficult to do it by hand. The beads are small and with a drop of hot glue on them there is no margin of error there. The wire makes it easy to manipulate the bead. Place a bead on the wire and put a small drop of hot glue on it. Then we place the bead in the fold of one of the triangles prepared before. When the bead is in the fold, press gently with your finger to make sure it sets properly. After a second or two, the glue is cool and we can retrieve the wire. The bead remains in the fold. Repeat this with all 10 pieces. If somehow you are not satisfied with how one bead was set and you want to move it a little, it's possible to do. That for 1 or 2 seconds before the hot glue sets completely. You just have to be quick about it. After this operation, we now have all 10 petals of the angel's dress. We have to put them together. Step 8. Make the angel's dress. Sew by hand. Take a piece of thread and thread a hand sewing needle. Then string all 10 prepared pieces on the needle. When you have all 10, sew them together at the top, making sure the stitch does not unravel. You will get an unorganized bunch like this. Repeat the operation with the bottom of the angel's dress. Again, string all 10 pieces together, sew and secure the seam. Before we go further, I would like to tell you this. If you would like to make the Christmas angel ornament, you will need to find this video later, right? So press the like sign under this video and it will be in your liked videos on YouTube. Very easy to find later, and also subscribe to my channel. I have other interesting videos with sewing tutorials and some no-sew projects. After this step, the dress is ready. All it needs now is a little arranging by hand to make the 10 petals symmetrical. The end result is like this. Step 9. Build angel's wings. We have now to build the rest of the angel's body, and I use the decorative ribbons to build the wings first. Cut 4 pieces about 5 inches long. The measurement does not need to be very exact, we will cut them later. We need actually to make 2 wings, so we will need in fact double the number of small ribbon pieces. But of course the second one will be identical. 3 of them we stack on top of each other. The fourth strip we fold in half to obtain the center. Then we put about half an inch of hot glue over this fold, half on one side, half on the other. Then we lay the sandwich on top of this ribbon, aligning the upper side with the fold line. I'm trying to place this last ribbon at the middle of the other 3, but I don't need to measure. An approximation is enough. Then fold this last ribbon over to seal all 4. Then fold the 3 ribbon sandwich together over the 4th one like this. Beware, you will need to be patient with arranging this. Let me show you how to do it one more time. Secure the construction with a clip. And then make a second one identical with the first. These are going to be the angel's wings. As you can see, we didn't arrange the wings perfectly. The ends don't really align properly. This is okay. We will now trim the wings to the same length, cutting a little from the tip. Now, while the wing is still held in the tweezers, I will seal the cut ends with a small flame so it will not unravel. We repeat the operation with the second wing. Then we glue the two wings together, tip to tip. We use hot glue for this. They will not really overlap. They will be just kept together by the hot glue. In the end, we get this. Beware, this is not really a sturdy construction at this point, but it stays together. Wait a couple of minutes and allow for the glue to cool down and harden. We need the wings to stay together. Well, with this the wings are ready. Step 10. Build the angel's body. At this point, I realized I made a small mistake. I need a craft wire to protrude from the angel's dress upwards to anchor to it the wings and the rest of the angel. But I didn't put the wire in when sewing the dress, which I should have done. So at this point I inserted a wire through the stitch at the top of the angel's dress, and I tucked the wire between the folds. Ideally, the wire should have been sewn together with the petals at step 8. However, this was not a major issue. It was not really difficult to insert the wire in the stitch. The wire is thin enough, so I decided to continue and not redo the steps. But this is worth mentioning as an improvement. After the wings are in place, take a small piece of narrow ribbon, about 2 inches, and make a belt for the angel. Start with a drop of hot glue. Roll the ribbon around the waist of the angel until it comes back to the original point. It should overlap half an inch or so, enough to allow it to be glued. Place a small amount of glue and fold the ribbon over. Wait a couple of seconds. Now the angel has a belt under its wings. At the back of the wings, the mounting wire can be seen, so I'm going to hide it with a square piece of decorative ribbon. I cut it 1 inch on each side. The front of the wings also need embellishment because the joining line between the wings can be seen. Therefore, I'm going to use 2 squares mounted with a little hot glue. Step 11. Angel hat. For the hat I used a 1-inch bead, and for the loop, to put it in the tree, I need the loop. I used a piece of decorative craft wire. The decorative wire goes through the bead together with the mounting wire we used before. As you can see, the decorative wire goes through the bead, barely showing at the other end. The craft wire we inserted in the dress is still used as support here. Place a small drop of hot glue and then set the hat and keep it in place until the glue hardens. The glue will keep together the initial mounting wire, the craft wire, that silvery wire we use for the loop, the large bead, which is head of the angel, and the glue will also touch the wings, dress, and the 2 squares we used in step 10. Step 12. Make the loop. After the head is secure on the body, trim the craft wire at the point where it exits the bead. The silver wire must also be trimmed to the exact length required for the mounting loop. I used a drop of hot glue to secure the end of the silver wire to the head. If you wish, you can also use a little metallic wire and wrap around the glued point to secure the loop, but I didn't do that. Okay, the ornament is ready. Was it difficult? I don't think so, and it certainly is beautiful. My angel seems to be sturdy enough and has already survived a trip outside, because I wanted to take an image with a tree in my backyard. And I even dropped it a couple of times, so I'm confident it will be a nice addition to my tree come Christmas time.